But we got a problem. Black people got a problem. Now we can move to color blindness and always look at the man by the content of his character, never the color of his skin. I'm down for that. You get my vote. Yay and amen. I'm for that. But before we get there, we need to hear some truth. Black people and white folk. Black people got a problem. And it's a God problem. When black people see the world, I don't care. You can train them. You can train a black man to be a physician. You can train him to be an astrophysicist. You can train him to be a lawyer, but you can't train him to understand the world. He doesn't know. I'm telling you. There's not 2 cents worth of difference between a mass murderer. There's not 2 cents of difference between a petty thief that's locked away in prison than a black doctor when it comes to understanding the world. Listen, you listen to me. We got to deal with this. And we need to begin to acknowledge it, talk about it, ask God to help us, because only God can help black people where they are. Black people had Africa, that big old continent over there. They never built one boat that was seaworthy, not one. There's not one monument in Africa, in all of Africa. I know you're talking about Egypt. Egypt is not Africa. There are no great cities that were built. Even before the first colonization of white people coming to the shores of Africa or the slave ships, black men built nothing. No sewer system, no houses above one level, and none of them made out of stone, all of them made out of grass and wood. Black men, before the white man ever got to Africa. The worst thing that could ever happen to South Africa was when they gave it to Nelson Mandela and black folk. That was a great nation. Now, notwithstanding apartheid was wrong, we all know it's wrong. I'm against it. There should have been some other resolution, though, than turning it over to Nelson Mandela. Disease, AIDS, and crime is running wild in Johannesburg. They're killing one another over there. They're dying of sickness. The government is mismanaged. The people who ran the nation are now leaving the nation because black folk don't know how to run no nation. They don't know how, and we need to admit it. I know you don't like it, but you need to stop shucking and jiving. We got a problem. Nigeria produces oil every year, yet the children over there are hungry and pot-bellied and walking barefoot. We got a problem. You talk about the Hutus and the Tutsis. Look what's going on in Zimbabwe now with Mugabe. We got a problem, black folk. And forget about Zimbabwe and South Africa, Nigeria. Black folk don't understand the world. You can get mad with me all you want. You can say what you, but you can't prove me wrong. Now, I'm not saying this because I hate black folk. I'm saying it because I love you enough to tell the truth. And the only person going to ever help us get out of the situation is going to be God. There's something wrong with the black man's mind. There's something wrong with his mind. He does not understand the world. He doesn't. I don't care if he learned medicine. He doesn't understand the world. We got to talk to the Lord. People, we got to talk to God. Y'all ain't got no sense, you black women. Your men treat you like they're dogs, like your dogs. They walk all over you. They make you pay the bills at home, and then the preachers pimp you in the churches and make you pay the bills. Y'all crazy black women buying these black men private jets, the tune of $50 million for a nigga to ride around in a private jet, and you talk about, look at our pastor. What's wrong with y'all women? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? And what's wrong with a black man that would take that kind of money out of a poor neighborhood and buy himself a private jet? What's wrong with y'all niggas? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with y'all? You niggas are crazy. Black people, let me tell y'all something. If you don't ever hear me say preach again, they can kill me tomorrow. But let me tell you something. We're not going to ever get anywhere until we look into the mind of a black man. He doesn't think correctly. I don't care what he is. He can be a doctor. He can be an astrophysicist. The nigga ain't got no sense. You talk to him. You talk to a black man. He doesn't understand the world. He's never built anything. You know, the thing that bothered me years ago, going back in the 60s, was that when black folk got mad with white folk in the 60s, they rioted. Yeah, they did. Detroit, worst riot on the planet until the Rodney King riot in Los Angeles. They rioted here in Harlem too, Philadelphia. But the thing that bothered me that I couldn't understand, I was trying to get a grip on it, was that when black folk rioted, they rioted right in their own neighborhoods. I'm trying to figure something out now. I mean, why not go down there on Fifth Avenue, down there by Western Jewelers, and buy all those fancy jewel places down there, and all those fancy clothing places down Fifth? Why don't you go down there with your bricks and your baseball bats and your fire and your Molotov cocktails and tear up down there? No, we're not going down there. We're right close to home, so we don't have to take the subway home once we finish our ride. Crazy black people, crazy. But you are good at destroying things. Now, the white man has built this community. He has built this city. You didn't do it. You said, well, we built the bridges. No, you did the labor. He masterminded the building. He has built the city. White folk are good at building great cities, and y'all black folk are good at tearing them up. Destruction! As long as only black people lived up here in Harlem, the place was a wreck, full of drugs, destruction, shooting. I mean, it was a wreck. Nobody but black people lived up here. When the white people moved up here, they started creating stuff. Started renovating the buildings, taking the vacant lots and putting in properties. And the place looks different now. That creators are here and the destroyers are being pushed out. Oh, come on. You know it's true. You may not like it, but you know it's true. When white folk come, they create, they bring beauty. In fact, safety, I mean, you can walk out the street in the middle of the night, 3 o'clock in the morning, go out to get a bag of peanuts and a carton of milk. You're not worried about anything anymore, because white folk are in town. Now, Harlem is a great example of what happens when black folk are in power and they rule. They run the community. It's a mess. Is it possible, slightly possible, I know you will not agree, but is it slightly possible that we can then make the leap of understanding that if you got a black man running the nation, it might look like Harlem if you give him enough time to tear it up? Come on. Don't hate me. And don't hate the truth. You see, your resistance of that identifies you with the destroyer. That's all. Check out what your heart feels when I say that. When you feel you want to reject that, that identifies who you are. You on the side of destruction and you hate the creator. You want to tear it up. You said, I don't want to hear that. Oh, you don't take but 2 minutes to figure out what side you on. You know everywhere black folk are, they tear it up. What's the difference with a black president when you give him the nation? You're going to tear that up too. Black folk that get money get out of town. They go live around white folk so they can have some peace. You're nothing but the son of the devil, all you black folk. You're full of destruction. You're full of stealing. You're full of killing one another. I ain't never seen nothing like it. Yeah, I like the way the Muslims run around, Nation of Islam crowd. I like the way they run around, talk about how they down for the black man. I'm for the black man. Yeah, the black man. The Jews steals, white man bloodsuckers. And it's just talking about Islam. But as best I can remember, I've been around a few years. But as best I can remember, I don't never remember nobody from the Nation of Islam ever killing anybody white. They sure did kill Malcolm, though. You know what they did? You're talking about y'all sure enough stomped down black men, Muslims. Somebody wrote me an email, you can't hold a candle to Louis Farrakhan. He's a really black leader. Wrote me and told me. I said, yeah. You know, but while Louis Farrakhan was waiting to be national spokesperson, taking away that privilege from Malcolm, black Muslims walked into the Audubon ballroom with shotguns. And while Malcolm X was standing before his little girls, his precious little babies, some little old girls, they came to hear daddy speak. They're not thinking about nothing like that. They're little babies. You know how daddy loves his little girl. They sitting on the front row, these little girls, they precious little babies, along with his wife, his faithful wife, sitting there on the front row. And here come the black man. Here come the black man that talks that black talk, that calls me Uncle Tom, calls me, handkerchief head nigga. Here come the black man. Here come, got a shotgun, and in front of this man's children, shot him and mowed him down, riddled his body with bullets, right in front of his children. That's the kind of man y'all are. That's the kind of man y'all want me to be. Is that what you want me to be? Is that what make that you'll take me off your Uncle Tom list if I will subscribe to that because Louis Farrakhan will show in on the mix? He was there, not at the shooting, but at the planning. He was there that raised the sentiments of hatred against Malcolm. Lewis was there. Is that what y'all call a black leader? That's what I call a coward, a lowlife, somebody who's not worthy for me to step on.
How much longer and what else needs to be done in order to satisfy the call of what the San Francisco liberals and the Los Angeles liberals consider as doing something for the poor? I mean, my God. Do something for the poor. All throughout the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s, it's been do something for the poor. I mean, Bill Clinton runs around and gives away billions of dollars in Africa. I mean, billions, U2 and Bono and all that crowd of philanthropists and whoever else that they might want to title themselves, running around over in Africa and every place they can find a black face to do something for the poor. What I want to ask is the question is, when in the heck are we going to see the poor doing something for themselves? That's what I want to know. I mean, all right, okay, Jeremiah, right? So we did bomb Nagasaki and Hiroshima, 50, 60 years ago. But my God, the Japanese have turned around and built a great society, and they're selling all y'all black folk Lexuses, Toyotas, and Camrys and everything else. Well, when the black people going to turn around after everything is done for them and do something for somebody else? Doing something for the poor, doing something for the poor, doing something for the poor. When in the heck are poor people going to turn around and do something for somebody else except wait for people to do something for them for the next 350 years? All right, so you voted in a black president. Was that what you were trying to do? To do something for the poor? I've never seen anything as foolish as this in all my life. When are the poor people going to ever stand up and do something for themselves? They don't ever have to do anything for everybody else that's been doing something for them for the last 50 years. When poor people going to just turn around and do something for them? When they going to turn around and wipe their own behinds? For once in our lifetime, can we ever see poor people stand up and wipe their own behinds? For once. Well, we've been discriminated against. Will you shut up? God is sick of it. If y'all aren't sick of paying for it, God is sick of it. He's sick of this. No man on earth should ever live the way black people live, with their crazy selves. Always crying discrimination, always crying slavery, always talking about the white man. God didn't create us to live in this mess. It needs to stop, and it needs to stop now.